The elephant in the room in the executive coaching industry. It's more obvious than you think it is. Hi, I'm Michael Ceely. I'm a high-performance coach for executives and entrepreneurs, and this video is about the elephant in the room in the executive coaching industry. And let's get right to it. Here it is. It's the system or the environment in which the executive works. So you have the executive, and then you have the environment, and they are combined together, and the combination of those two produces the results or the capacity for that executive to perform and that executive's team to perform. But what's not talked about is this elephant in the room is that the system itself may be dysfunctional. And there's no organization, by the way, that's perfectly functional or totally dysfunctional. It's usually somewhere in between, hopefully more on the functional side. But the elephant is, and no coaching programs that I've seen, unfortunately, really talk about this, is the fact that maybe that executive is frustrated because there's not enough talk about that system, that elephant in the room. So the system itself will limit the capacity of people in it to achieve their full potential. So you could have a well-meaning company, but it's not structured properly, or the culture is such that there's not a lot of what we call psychological safety for people to be totally genuine and to really contribute. Or maybe there's a workflow. People are in denial about taking on too much work, and people are always in like firefighter mode. The workflow itself needs to be fixed before the executive can truly contribute at full capacity. And this is the elephant, is that people aren't talking about this because there's much more focus on the individual, but not the environment. So when I do coaching with people, I talk about this. I bring this up, I provide education on this, and then there's no more denial. There's no more gaslighting of yourself or blaming other people or this sort of walking on eggshells if the culture is such that you can't really perform at your best. So that really needs to be talked about, and I'm hoping more coaching companies and coaches realize this and study this more, because it is really frustrating for executives to really have great intentions and come into a company and really want to make a difference, but there's these sort of limits that are placed on them. And it's like a paradigm, though. You can't really see the structure, you can't see the forest from the trees, so you think you can make more changes than you actually are able to because of the structure. Think about it this way, like the DMV. Let's say that if you really love, an individual says, I want to be the best DMV employee ever. I want to make people smile. I might have a joke for them. I want the process to go great. You can have all those intentions and go work for the DMV, and because the structure, I hate picking on the DMV, but let's be real here, it's fairly bureaucratic, and you wait in a line and it's not the best customer experience. So the individual passionate DMV worker could have great intentions, but they're going to be capped or limited by the environment and by the structure of that system. So that's really it for today. The elephant in the room is the system, it is the environment, and if you're a coach listening to this, please start addressing this with your clients. If you're an executive looking for coaching, make sure that there's some sort of a talk about the interpersonal dynamics, the workflow, the structure in which you work. Otherwise, you're going to be really limited in the results you get in coaching. So the best way to think about this, and maybe you're resonating with this if you're looking for coaching, is that be honest about what you can actually achieve at your job in the structure that you have. Don't necessarily abandon that, because again, there's no company that's fully functional, perfect heaven, and there's no fully dysfunctional hell place to work, even though sometimes it feels like that. So make the best of what you have in the system and in that environment. Maybe you can affect change of that system, but it's going to be fairly limited unless you're the founder of that company. And even then, the system can get so complex that it takes a while to change. So be pragmatic And it's not like you're lowering your standards or your desire, but you're just being real about the system in which you work and how much you can influence that system. Okay, so I hope this video helps. The elephant in the room is people don't talk enough about the system dynamics in which you work. Thanks for watching.